So part 1 of my best Game Pass games video was pretty well received. Plus, as I was making it and browsing through all the games on the service, there are just too many games to include for just one video. But in this one, I'm also going to include games that are a part of EA Play, which is included with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Of course, I'll indicate for each game whether it's on Game Pass for PC as well, plus which are enhanced for Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S as well. But these games are absolute gems, as in really damn good. So don't make too many plans, as you'll definitely want to play these. But of course, if you like the video, then please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to the channel and share it around on other platforms too. And I've noticed that this has been happening quite a bit lately as well, with video views and subscriber numbers going up quite rapidly for such a small channel. So thank you all for so much support, and now it's onto the list, so let's get to it. Kicking it all off, we have Ninja Theory's HELLBLADE Senua's Sacrifice, and this is one game that kind of stands on its own as to how it plays out and the themes which it tackles, but also in what I believe is one of the best games to play whilst wearing headphones, hearing the voices and whispers travel from ear to ear. And this is just me trying to be as vague as possible so as not to touch on too much of the story and how it ties together to Senua herself, her backstory and what's happening now and all the rest. This still looks damn good as well, with characters which look fantastic, especially Senua, which just adds to everything going on as we get wrapped up in her ordeal and the emotions which she portrays, plus the often mysterious environments which have some great looking lighting at times, from eerie beaches or where colours seem to be saturated, or the use of effects which take over the screen, through to the complete lack of a HUD and where players are given audio cues instead in combat. HELLBLADE should keep you on the edge of your seat for the 7 to 10 hour runtime based upon the difficulty of the enemies and how quickly you solve the puzzles, but it will probably be one game that sticks with you for the long term. Up next at number 9, we have Respawn's Jedi Fallen Order, and where justice is done to the franchise with this single player, story driven Star Wars game. Set after Revenge of the Sith, you play as Cal Kestis, who is a Jedi Padawan, and you'll be traveling across several planets, complete with some unwanted backtracking, but it isn't too much of an issue as you go about slicing through enemies with your lightsaber and using several force powers as well. Difficulty can be quite challenging as well, depending on the setting you play on, and where you'll need to nail how to parry on those higher difficulty settings. With combat, which was often compared to From Software games, it doesn't quite match the responsiveness or feel of those games, but Jedi Fallen Order makes up for it in delivering a story worth caring about, plus transporting you to that galaxy far, far away. At times it can be visually stunning, and character models overall are quite good, with some great voice acting to go along with it. Check out my review of the game for more information, but Jedi Fallen Order is a whole bunch of intergalactic fun. At number 8 is NIER Automata, and if you're after some solid combat and mixture of gameplay styles, such as third-person action coupled with a twin-stick shooter with some platforming thrown in as well, then this may be for you. But NIER Automata goes much further down the rabbit hole the more and more you play. This is one game where repeat playthroughs are almost a necessity when it comes to understanding and realizing the full breadth of the story and themes which surround the characters here. With a world which can be somewhat bland at times and just spectacular and so memorable at others, the combat is fast and satisfying, and this becomes something you enjoy the more and more you play. It could very well become one of your favorite games, period. This can be enjoyed on multiple levels depending on what you're after, but seeing as it is on Game Pass, then you owe it to yourself to check out this quite unique, one-of-a-kind story-driven action fest from Platinum Games. Coming in at number 7 is DANTE'S Inferno, one Xbox 360 backwards compatible game I had not played until very recently, and which was recommended to me on a YouTube comment on one of my videos. I'm glad I checked it out, because this game is all kinds of awesome, from its visual story and its intense and fast over-the-top brutal combat system. It reminded me of the older and latest God of War games due to how the camera pans around and the QTEs to take down the larger enemies. Set in the Crusades, Dante is stabbed in the back by an assassin, whereby death appears to submit him to everlasting damnation for his sins. But that just seems to piss Dante off even more, so you'll kill death and keep his scythe. Now, with information like that, you know this is just going to be chock full of action, and it is a brutal gore fest that is oh so satisfying to control. include the backdrop of Florence and the story revolved around his love of Beatrice, and you have just such a fantastic action game and what has now become a hidden gem that's playable via Game Pass and backwards compatibility. It's excellent. Creeping you out at number 6 is the excellent Resident Evil 7, and this one could very well be my favourite in all of the series, including the Resident Evil 2 remake and all 27 versions of Resident Evil 4, which have come out too. This is where the series really sinks its teeth into the horror and thriller side of the series, as opposed to the more action-focused titles I just mentioned. Resident Evil 5 and 6 were missteps, but from the moment RE7 starts, it dials up the creepiness, even if there isn't a whole lot original here, which is fine. It's how it's delivered and it's great. Starting with the beautiful visuals that bring the stereotypical creepy mansion to life with its dark hallways and mood lighting, through to the great character models of this insane family that is here. Throw in a girlfriend that's gone missing, which brings you here in the first place, and RE7 is just an awesome game and one which got the series back on track. I'm always very critical of horror games and how they go about delivering their scares and creating an atmosphere which is needed, but RE7 gets it, and you should get it too and check it out. For number 5, we have a stunningly gorgeous game in Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and this succeeds on several levels which make it just a must play. It starts with a simple but beautiful story and cast of characters which just gets better and better over the lengthy game time, and where the cute, colourful facade lies emotional depth. But the visuals themselves are just stunning, with bright colours and effects being thrown all over the screen, or the great enemy designs, especially when it comes to the bosses, who are large but also move with excellent animation, as does Ori. Everything is just so damn smooth now, and the rest of the game builds and improves on its predecessor, with more moves and things to find and unlock, plus what I believe is a better laid out world with more individuality between each of the areas. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is just a beautiful game on all levels. If you want more of an in-depth look at it and what makes it so good, then please be sure to check out my review. Up at number 4, we have one of my absolute favourite stories and characters in any game, and it's The Walking Dead, and in this particular case, it's Season 1. The first time I played this, which was also the first Telltale game I played, I was blown away with how much the developers fleshed out these characters to make them as real as possible. The visual design is anything but realistic, and the animations are basic, but these characters, especially Clementine, just dug themselves into my brain and stayed there. Each subsequent sequel fleshes out the storyline and world, of course, but it's the first one that creates this wonderful bond between Clementine and Lee, where we get a look at them in the present day, but also the backstories of each. It all comes together to create what I feel is one of the best relationships in all of gaming, and where it hit me in the feels as well. The writing is excellent, the story is great, the characters are awesome. The Walking Dead Season 1 is a perfect example in how amazing storytelling in video games can be. I loved it. At number 3, we have a game I've only just discovered, and it's the fantastic Warhammer Vermintide 2. I'd heard good things about this game and wanted to check it out, mainly as it was one of the Xbox Series X and S enhanced games, but it's very much worth playing, even if it wasn't. It's a fantastic looking game and runs buttery smooth on the Xbox Series X, and when all players are slashing away at enemies with their swords, shooting off their guns or hurling spells at the enemies, the screen is filled with effects and blood and everything else. It's just a hell of a lot of fun to play, and even more so in a group of friends. This is the type of game where, due to its different difficulty settings, you may not want much of a challenge, as you just want to have a chat about anything with your friends, or maybe you want to conquer each level on the highest difficulty setting, where communication and having a balanced team is an absolute necessity. Whichever way it is, this is just a great game. You'll be continually unlocking new gear and items with different stat bonuses, and there's enough differences and diversity amongst the characters in terms of abilities and changing their look to put in many hours, plus all of the things to unlock for each of them too. Warhammer Vermintide 2 is just a great example of how much value is crammed into Game Pass and how there is so much choice. This game is excellent. Coming in at number 2 is the atmospheric greatness of the original Dead Space. This is an example of a game where all parts come together to create one of the most memorable horror/action game experiences I've had, if not the best. From the minimalist HUD to watching the back of your suit to gauge your health of the silent protagonist of Isaac, through to the creepiness of the Ishimura ship and the grotesque and utterly magnificent enemy design. When you're in the vacuum of space with near silence or muffled sounds all around you, and you see these beasts slowly making their way towards you, or how you see them in the near darkness aiming for their limbs in order to kill them. Dead Space creates what is so needed in horror games: tension and atmosphere and tension, and it just fucking oozes from everywhere in this game, and I love it. I played this again recently and it has lost none of its excellence over the years. It still looks great from a technical standpoint, plus the enemy ship design through to the excellent sounds which I missed upon first playing it, and which I needed to wear headphones to hear everything going on. Do yourself a favor, no actually do me a favor, and experience this awesome atmospheric action horror gorefest. And landing at number 1 is Respawn's criminally underrated Titanfall 2, particularly at release, but thankfully these days it seems to be known that this is all types of awesome. The multiplayer is great, as was the case with the first one, but the standout here is the campaign, which was absent from the first game, but which has catapulted Titanfall 2 as one of the best first-person shooter campaigns out there, and needs and deserves to be played by anyone who even has the smallest amount of interest in first-person shooters, or for anyone who actually likes good things, because this is just fucking all kinds of awesome. Its quick parkour movement system, which sees you running along walls and jumping off as you rain bullets down on the enemies below, with the excellent gunplay, is all so damn satisfying because the game performance never skips a beat in my experience, plus it also looks awesome. And the first game had this too, but again, it's the campaign here and the inclusion of BT that launches it into the stratosphere. The relationship and connection between you and your Titan friend is written so well and executed so well. And what we are left with is a companion who we actually care about, who has personality, and writing characters like this is hard enough when they're human, let alone a large robot. This relationship is the glue which sticks the Titanfall 2 campaign together. And then we also have just expertly designed levels as well. Titanfall 2 is one of the best first-person shooters there is to play today, and I won't stop saying that until everyone on the planet has played this. Titanfall 2 is excellent and is a testament to the quality of developers, designers, writers, and everyone else over at Respawn Entertainment. And I just hope we get a Titanfall 3. So there are another 10 great Xbox Game Pass games to play, and there will be more videos in this series as there are just so many games to enjoy. Plus some games get taken off as new ones get added. But all of these games are fantastic, but please let me know which ones are your favorites or which ones you want to play most. Maybe you didn't know about them before. Comment down below as I read and interact down there, and it's always appreciated if you can give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around where you can. And thank you all once again for the support. Until next time, I'll catch you on the next video.